Welcome to Center Ground, your home for unfiltered discussion, where we tackle today's most talked about topics, break down current events, and give our take on the internet's latest foolishness. Tune in and let's find some common ground. Let's get this party started. Welcome back to the Center Ground podcast. I enjoyed my time reviewing Pickbook Lessons, and I figured sometimes it's best to get a woman's perspective on what women are doing rather than male's perspective all the time. Sometimes you need to listen to people who are not like you, people who come from different backgrounds, people who see things differently, and also, people who I would say, just look at things differently. Honestly, even opposing views, that's what I wanted to get at. Sometimes I don't agree with everything, people say on the other side of political spectrums and all this other stuff. I'm more in the middle anyway, and I don't like what either side does for the most part because they all suck.
You suck!
And they do dumb things. And what's crazy is when you really analyze it, you realize that they're both doing the same nonsense, just doing it differently and blaming each other for it. But I came across this early this morning when I opened up YouTube, and instantly I was disgusted by this image that I see right here. It's just everything that's wrong with the black community. It's a bunch of stereotypes all in just one freeze frame. But the title caught me. Now, I don't know Carmen JC, but the title really caught me. Exposed. Female rap is a psyop, the death of dignity, and rise of parasites. That's a title. But I wanted to hear her take real quick, and let's get started.
I want to know, do your kids listen to your music?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah.
Female rap has got to go. We are literally witnessing a complete degradation of black women, and quite frankly, it is spilling over into other communities as well. And they're all doing it willingly, proudly, which is disgusting. The image of a black woman used to come with pride, with power, with dignity. Now the image have been hijacked and traded in for prostitution music, stripper culture.
Shout outs to Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill is extremely talented, was always graceful. I mean, she always late now, so I guess that's her problem. But I'd rather someone who's constantly late, like the stereotype, than this stereotype that we see on screen, because but I'll let it continue.
And social media stupidity. What we're watching isn't just embarrassing. It is spiritual decay dressed up as empowerment. And I'm sorry to say this. Actually, I'm not sorry. These women need to be stopped. And to be clear, this isn't just about music. This is about identity. This is about influence. This is about the children coming up being programmed to think that this is okay, that this is cool because their mothers and aunties and grandmothers have already been programmed by the system to see wisdom as weakness and whoredom as strength. The behavior coming from these female rappers, these people that are encouraging it is all disgusting. And this is not to say that male rap isn't disgusting too, but let's be real. The men aren't the ones that's raising these children. And I'm saying, if black women will embrace someone like Sexy Red in
I'll stop it right there real quick because she makes a very fascinating point. And it's something that a lot of people tend to just completely ignore when looking at like relationship dynamics and how things work is, for the most part, outside of like married men and the few single fathers that are actually out there, even though we know that single fathers and married couples tend to raise the same kind of children, right? It's a lot of single mothers out here who are raising these children. So when they promote this type of music, chances are the kids are hearing and seeing this nonsense, and it's negatively affecting our community and our future. One of the things that I didn't like seeing is I remember like when Miss Red, I don't call her sexy. I don't find her sexy. I don't think nothing is attractive about this over here. But when she first came out, I remember there was a bunch of little girls at a birthday party just dancing, and they knew every word. And I've always had that problem with people in my community where it's like, why does your kid know the words of every horrible song, but they can't read? Like, how does that make sense? You're telling me they can memorize an entire song of filth, but they don't know their ABCs. I'll let her continue.
to the community, celebrating her. A girl that sells gonorrhea lip glosses, raps about hoochie coochie, and just glorifies dysfunction like it's some type of cultural currency, then the culture has no hope. We are in full cultural collapse, and everyone should be alarmed. Let's stop calling it female rap and call it what it really is. Prostitution music. These women aren't just rapping, they're marketing dysfunction, they're branding disease, yellow dish.
Yeah, it's pimps and 304 culture. So I heard someone speak on this as well, and they said even rappers, when you listen to the way that they rap as if they're pimps. Like they don't really care about women. They use them. They'll even sell their women if they need to, right? That's the pimp side of things. But the 304 side is what we see most female rappers doing nowadays. It's all about coitus, because I don't like using the S word because it might get blocked or banned or whatever, right? But that's all they rap about. That's all they have to offer. They have nothing more to offer except the physical. And it shows.
Charge lip gloss, gonorrhea lip gloss, literally STDs turned into brand identities and sold back to little girls as empowerment. And sexy red is
Like, think about how disgusting that is. Like, seriously, even if it's just a marketing ploy, like, come on.
the main perpetrator of this. She's the face of it. She's the one that's pushing it. She's the one they allow to sell the dysfunction to them and their children. And the problem is they don't see nothing wrong with it. They don't boycott her, but they want to boycott Target. It is completely disgusting. Even Jennifer Hudson brought her on her show, The Jennifer Hudson Show, a grown woman with a platform and an EGOT, an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony, sitting across from a girl who glorifies STDs and prostitution and embracing her like she's a role model. Let's go ahead and take a look at that exchange.
She met my son.
He's so sweet and handsome.
Thank you.
You got a good.
He was like, "Can you make him a video?" Because I have my son and like 7 of his cousins. In this past summer, I want to say they wanted to come see Sexy Red. Was it at the Chicago Festival?
Yeah.
They're music kids, so thank you for making my
Yeah.
son's day. They
Yeah.
would never forget it. I want to know, do your kids listen to your music?
Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
Aren't her kids like really young? Either way. So I wanted to say, like, this is already abhorrent behavior, and it's just like the fact that it's promoted on TV just shows that certain people are literally trying to destroy the black community, which is why I fully understand the psyop part. Because I don't think people who are as untalented as this young lady here were put in position by accident. And you start to notice the more degenerative the music is, the faster their rise is. Like, there's some rappers who are just absolute garbage, lyrically just non-existent, yet they're constantly promoted. Remember when, what's the other one, Sukiyana was around? I don't know if she's still around. Don't care. Don't listen. But remember when she was around and just being wild and reckless everywhere she went? She literally got put on because she was willing to do anything for money and even willing to. And that's my thing with these people. They are willing to sell out their own community. They are willing to destroy the black community just so they can get a few coins. They are like Judas in the flesh.
Yeah.
The fact that Jennifer Hudson lets her child listen to Sexy Red is all you need to know. They are trying to sell you the idea that this is normal.
That is true, though, because I don't know how old her son is. Don't care, right? But the fact that you allow your children to listen to that kind of music speaks volumes to you as a parent. Now, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know Jennifer Hudson's situation, but it wouldn't surprise me if the father's not in the picture, which is why this type of behavior is allowed, which is also why society seems to be pushing single mothers and you don't need a man and you don't need anything like this. Because I remember years ago, there was these like conspiracy, like tinfoil hat theories that, you know, the rich and government is trying to control us. And they're trying to control us by means of like the music and the entertainment. Because if you know anything about the human mind, we tend to like repeat things that we see and hear. And we are deeply, and I mean deeply influenced by music. This is why when you're watching a movie, you don't just see the scenes. There's a reason why there's music playing in the background. Because someone a long time ago discovered that music does impact our emotions in real time. But back to what I was saying, the fact that this lady who is a talk show host, and I swear, I never understood how she became a talk show host. Like, she was a good singer. I give her that. She's a great singer. But how do you go from singer to talk show host? Like, I've always found stuff like that weird. But I do have this strange belief that in certain circles, especially in Hollywood, you're more likely to get opportunities if your moral compass is broken or non-existent. I think that's why people like Cardi B was pushed to the top. I think that's why people like Meg Thee Stallion, even though her record sales are iffy, why she gets so much advertisement, because these people will do any and everything as long as you hand them money. And I think this lady is a perfect example. She'll just do whatever, say whatever, poison whatever. She'll poison the well as long as she has clean drinking water. And as long as black people in general are okay with this behavior, as long as we make excuses for this behavior, as long as we remain ignorant and act like this thing does not have long-lasting effects, we're always going to be at the bottom and we're always going to be doomed.
That this is okay. This is how the elite work. They do not sell dysfunction directly. They use familiar faces to do it. So when you see someone like Jennifer Hudson co-signing it, you think it's okay. You think, well, if she approves, it must be fine. It is not okay. It is not fine. And I'm going to be honest. I think Jennifer Hudson is going right along with the elite's agenda. You don't just get an EGOT like that. That is not a small achievement. It is actually extremely rare. Yes, she has a beautiful voice. I'll give her that. But let's really think about, like, have we seen enough of a body of work to justify all of that? Because something kind of feels off to me. I could be wrong, but just outside looking in.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Like, how do you get a talk show from just singing? Like, how?
It looks suspicious. There are some questionable things that happened in her life before she got the EGOT, back when she was obese, before she was skinny.
If you didn't kill Jennifer Hudson's family, who did?
I don't know. I mean, I could sit here and speculate to many names and just throw them out there to you. It still wouldn't solve it. Period.
Now all of a sudden she's skinny.
Well, I mean, just in her defense, everybody in prison say that they didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
But whatever.
She has an EGOT and she's sitting across on a talk show, her own talk show, praising Sexy Red. Interesting. Really interesting. This is how you know the industry doesn't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your daughters. They only care about one thing: pushing dysfunction and protecting the puppets who do it the best. And what
I don't even think their main goal is pushing dysfunction. I think it's just a result, a product of it. I think their main goal is money. I don't really think they care about us. I don't think they're that racist that they, perfectly targeting us specifically. I just think they figured out a way to make some money. We fell for it. They continue it. Right? Because at the end of the day, the power is still in our hands. If we reject ratchet music, if we reject ratchet people, it would disappear. Overnight, it would just stop. But the problem is, some of us are so foolish. Some of us are so dumb, I'm just going to say it and be honest, that you could sell them garbage and they would tell you that it's great.
does the music actually teach? Be unreachable, be uncorrectable, show your body, ignore your kids, disrespect your men, and call that a win. But to be clear, the win is only for the system. The loss is...
Yeah, they call it empowerment nowadays. It's like literally anything to break up the family. But when you realize that people who are in families, when people who have duties to another, they don't behave like the commercialized slaves that's running around everywhere. They don't spend as much money. They don't do certain things that make people more money. Because let's be real, if we act up, they throw us in jail. They still profit from that. You know, they'll push it like, oh, we're making society safer. But let's be real, the more people they throw in jail, the more they financially profit. Because they're trying to privatize just about everything. Just about everything. They wanted to privatize, they want to privatize healthcare, schooling, I said healthcare already, schooling, Medicare, just about everything, just so they can make $1 off us, jails, prisons, everything. And I get it. Everybody has that need and that desire to make money, but it's like at what cost? And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not willing to give up my sanity, my morality, my beliefs to promote someone like Mrs. Red over here.
Ours.
Correction. Probably won't ever see marriage. Not qualified. Miss Red.
Everyday Americans lose because of this, not just black people. Because while these women keep rapping about being independent and unbothered, they're dragging the image of black femininity deeper into the gutter with every verse. And like I said, it's not just the young ones. It's the adult women, the 40-plus crowd, the aunties and grandmas. Grandmas reposting it.
I'm going to say this. I remember I had a corporate job, and, I don't typically join, like, the race groups or their discussions and things like that, because sometimes I find some of these things unproductive. But I remember when I joined one time, and instead of talking about things that would benefit other black people in the workplace, like, hey, how did you get to the level that you're at? What should I be working on? What, skills should I develop? Tangible things that could actually help black people. No, they were instead talking about Beyonce and Rihanna. I clicked off that call so fast. It was such a waste of time. And this is what we get. Even our elites, or quote unquote elites, because I don't really think that they're elite. They're just pushed ahead of everybody else. Usually because they conform in a way that makes other people comfortable. But even them sometimes, it's weird that they promote degeneracy and destructive behavior within our community. And I think it has something to do with them being removed from it. And that's another thing that we can talk about. A lot of people who promote destruction are usually not living in the same neighborhoods that it affects. Don't get me wrong, there is a trickle-down effect, and it starts to degrade society over time. And I think we're starting to see the results of some of these things, right? It takes around 20, 30 years. But, these people are far removed from it, so they're more likely to promote it.
Others dance into it. Little girls have these lyrics memorized, but they cannot read a book. Amazing.
Isn't that not what I just said? Well, not just said, but what I said earlier. And that's the part that pisses me off. Some of these kids know every rapper, every celebrity's name. They know every scene of a dumb TV show that's useless to them. But then when they're in class, they can't keep up. And it's somehow the teacher's fault. Or it's the white man's fault. Or it's society's fault. I've even seen them blame absentee fathers. Like, how is it that guy's fault when he's not there? You're the one that's there. Do better.
What we're witnessing is not music culture. It is identity warfare, and the battlefield is in the mind of the next generation. This is not about music. It is about erasure of dignity. It is about replacing power with promiscuity. And it is about turning the divine feminine energy into a dollar store whoredom and selling it to a dying culture as if it's liberation. Because this isn't a red flag anymore. It is cultural suicide. So I want to talk about what happens when you normalize parasites like Sexy Red, because she's not just one person. She is a gateway to a cultural collapse. And now we're seeing the clones, we're seeing the monsters. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of those monsters now. I'm not playing a sound on this because, quite frankly, it is beneath all of us. But
I don't know what she's going at with this one, but it just reminded me of something. I had a lot of respect for Sherry Shepherd. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know how she got a talk show either, because I just remember she was an actress. And she was always like, comedic relief and stuff like that. But I remember when someone asked her if she was going to bring someone like Red on her show, she was like, what for? And a bunch of clowns got on the internet talking about she a hater. It's like, why are we promoting? And I think she responded, like, why are we promoting degeneracy? It don't matter who the industry pushes. As people, we should already know their game plan. They've been doing the same thing for like 30 years. How dumb do you have to be to fall for the same trap for 30 years?
I'm going to walk you through what they are saying and brace yourself. So they're outside of KFC holding chicken boxes in 40s, rapping about Plan Bs and how they're tired of taking Plan Bs because the men.
Like, who's watching this thinking, I want to hear that? Like, I swear, I remember when I came across this, I don't know if it was YouTube or whatever, but I came across this video when it first came out, and I just was like, ew.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
My instinct was to be disgusted by what I saw. Nothing about this video is attractive to me. Nothing. But yet there's some thirsty dudes out there like, no, they bad.
And won't stop ejaculating in them.
We can talk about, how some people are just ruled by carnal values, but that's a whole different topic.
Rapping about Plan Bs and how they're tired of taking Plan Bs because the men won't stop ejaculating in them. I am not kidding. And they're talking about how they need money in order to basically have their time, and that their man knew that they were whoring before he met them. So he should just, I guess, be okay. I don't know. The music and the lyrics is quite disgusting. So I don't suggest anyone listen to it. I think it should be banned from the internet, even though I am pro free speech. But I'm just saying it is quite disgusting. Nothing about this is culture, and nothing about this is anything to be proud of. And quite frankly, these girls should be ashamed of themselves, and Black people should be ashamed for allowing this to even exist publicly. I am not going to ignore the fact that this girl is 500 pounds standing outside of a KFC. She should not be eating. I cannot, with the most bottom of the...
Isn't that the same one that tried to sue Lyft, Uber, or somebody's car service because she couldn't fit in the car? Like, oh yeah, the dude was saying, he said my tires are tired. That's crazy. Like, she damn near broke the suspension on that car. But we're supposed to pretend like all of this crazy destructive behavior is normal. But at the end of the day, it's funny because I watched this in a movie and it's so real. Chris Tucker said in Rush Hour, follow the rich white man.
Let me introduce you to Carter's theory of criminal investigation. Follow the rich white man.
Follow the rich white man?
Exactly, now you're learning.
And although times have changed and it's not always the white man or even a white person, it's follow the rich person. And you'll see why certain behavior is promoted. I'm going to say this, and once I say it, hopefully it opens somebody's eyes. But the world is telling you there's nothing wrong with being morbidly obese because big people spend more money on food. It always boils down to the money.
Barrel women being put on Front Street. I don't care if they're just doing it randomly or if somebody is paying them, but it needs to stop because the amount of dysfunction being normalized in the Black community is off the charts. And the fact that these women feel okay posting this type of content, it just shows you how far we've fallen. But it gets worse. There's another one. She's like a sexy red clone, and she's out here singing about she can't wait till she drops her baby. Let's take a look at her. Brace yourselves. So as you can see, she has the full stripper aesthetic. She's clearly pregnant with a bikini top on and just the most disgusting look ever. Apparently, she's going to buy a truck and pop out. I don't know what that means.
You know what's crazy? I think I said this in another video, or maybe I just said it in conversation with somebody, but they all have a look. And it just seems like, it's going to sound bad, but it's like a Section 8 type of look. It seems like something that, it's a look that people who have nothing, flock to. People who can't read have this look. People who can't think for themselves have this look. People who can't do anything have a certain look. And it's like, it's starting to get worse with time. It's like all they do is promote sexuality. Like, why are you pregnant with your pants open, with your belly hanging out? Like, no regard for the child, only for what you can do, what can be seen, what can be like, shock value, and then what can be promoted. And it's sad to watch the decay of some of my people, but it's like, the older I get, the more I see why certain people, we call them sedity and, bougie and bourgeoisie. But you start to understand why certain people said, I made a little bit of money. I don't want my kids around this garbage. I'm leaving. I'm starting to see it.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't want to know what it means, but I have to say, I hope she plans on being a mother. I mean, I think that's the most important thing she should be thinking about. But judging from this performance, I highly doubt it. And to be honest, I don't know if she deserves to be a mother. I don't know who's raising this girl or who's encouraging her to do this, but this is just completely disgusting. And this is what happened when we normalize parasites like Sexy Red. You breed cultural monsters. But this is what happens when culture rewards dysfunction and confusion.
Yeah, I gotta close out because I gotta go, but I completely agree with this video. I agree with everything she's saying, and it's sad because you see the destruction in real time. This is probably the first time in history where you're able to watch the degradation of a society on video. Like, we're watching it decay. I'm watching young girls who are 8, 9, 10, 11 speak like rappers. That's crazy. And it's like, although we want people to have freedom, we want people to have autonomy, we want people to do what makes them comfortable, but at the end of the day, there should be a limit. Do I think it's a psyop? Yeah, I don't think this happened by accident. I think this was a calculated attack, and sadly, it looks like it's working. Until we meet again. Thanks for listening to the Center Ground Podcast. We'll be back soon with some more great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. We are a new channel, and growth is essentially our main objective. So send us an email at centerground rich.pod@gmail.com with any ideas or clips you would like for us to review. This was definitely fun, and I'd say let's do it again. But before you go, always remember, greatness lives somewhere within you. Just make sure you're taking the time to find the key to unlock that greatness. Until we meet again, I'll see you soon.